2 minutes. Okay.
You're on, my friend.
Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another cooking class with Northgate. I'm your host for this evening, and my name is Isabela. Welcome back for those of you who have taken this class before, and welcome to new people. We have a very exciting class today, and I'm gonna start cooking because we have a lot of stuff to do, and we want to get started, okay? So today we are doing a Thanksgiving appetizer board, and it looks like a lot, but honestly, if you prep your ingredients ahead, like I mentioned in the recipe, it's just a matter of being organized with your ingredients and you can create this beautiful appetizer board, okay? We're gonna get started with our oven at 375 degrees because we're gonna start with our Oaxaca and Croute, and what that means is our Oaxaca wrap and puff pastry, okay? It sounds fancy, but we're gonna master it because it's actually really easy. So what I have going on here is I have one sheet of puff pastry, and you buy this in the frozen section. And I'm gonna roll it out. I'm gonna dust a surface with a little bit of flour, just like that, so it doesn't stick. There we go. And I'm gonna add my sheet of puff pastry. In Spanish, it's called hojaldre, okay? So this is what it looks like. Just gonna sprinkle it with a bit more of flour so it doesn't get stuck in our roller, okay? If you don't have a roller, you can always use a bottle of wine or a glass bottle of anything you have laying around, okay? So this is our sheet of puff pastry, okay? And what we're gonna do is I bought this Oaxaca cheese from El Mexicano, which is the perfect round little ball that we're gonna wrap in the puff pastry, okay? So right here, this guy, I'm just gonna place it right here. But before we start kneading our dough, we are gonna do our matcha, okay? Our salsa, well, it's not a salsa matcha, it's basically a jar of apricot preserves that we're gonna add chile to it and a little other enhancers. And that's gonna be our base for our puff pastry. And and it's delicious. You won't be needing all the recipe for your puff pastry, for your Oaxaca cheese. And what I like to do is I like to make it and then reserve it in the same jar, okay? So what we're gonna do, and recipe asks, in here I have 3 guajillos dried that I just toasted in a little bit of olive oil in a pan. And what you want is, you don't want them to be burnt, you just want them to be flavorful and nice and toasty, okay? So I have 3 guajillos, I have 1 pasilla, and I have 7 chiles de arbol that I toasted in a pan with oil. That's it, no salt or anything. And we're gonna add this to our apricot preserves and blend. You'll see what we'll do with this. So this is, I believe, a 18-ounce jar. The one that you'll find at Northgate. I'm gonna add not all of it, so I can blend. And please let me know if you have any questions. I'll be cooking, and anybody's cooking along, but let me know if you have any questions, okay? Gonna add a little bit more. There we go. We're gonna end up adding all of it, okay? But first, because it won't fit all in this little NutriBullet. Questions?
I don't know how to.
Questions?
There was one, but I don't know how to. Que si los chiles tienen semilla. Sí.
Okay, questions?
Isabela, quieren saber si los chiles tienen semilla.
No, they do not. They are seeded. They are seeded. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add my apricot preserves in here. with my chiles, and I'm gonna add the rest. I'm gonna add the rest of my apricot preserves or jams to our matcha. In here. Get rid of this guy. Remember, we're gonna place it back in the jar, so keep the jar around for storage purposes. Oh, it smells so good. Yes.
Hello from Texas, Veronica.
Hello from Texas. Saludos a nuestros amigos en Texas. Okay. So I ended up adding all of my apricot jam in here. It smells so good, and we're still gonna add a little bit more stuff, okay? So look at that. I'm gonna add 1/4 cup of brown sugar. There we go. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. This helps preserve our jam with our chiles. And 1 tablespoon of minced. Okay. So we're gonna mix. Ooh. It smells so good. You can add it to cheese on its own. You don't have to do the puff pastry. You can serve it on your next charcuterie board. Yes.
How long does the salsa last?
The salsa lasts about, I would say about 3 to 4 weeks in the fridge. Oh, it smells so good, you guys. I'm just gonna season with a little pinch of salt. What I would do is I would just put it back in here and close it up and put it in the fridge, okay? But right now, we're gonna use it for Oaxaca cheese with puff pastry. So back to our cheese, because this is what the recipe that's gonna take the longest. So here I have my puff pastry sheet. I have it flour for dusting, and then we're gonna knead it, okay? We're just gonna knead our sheet of puff pastry, okay? A little bit bigger than it already is, okay? It doesn't have to be huge because our cheese is not that big. And we just want to wrap it. And we're going to wrap it up kind of like a gift, okay? So just like that, just expand it a bit. So that's good enough, okay? There you go. What I like to do is I like to add in the center a little bit of that matcha apricot jam. It smells so good. Right there in the middle, that's where I know how to put my cheese. I'm gonna put it right here. And then we're going to add more of our matcha jam, okay? On top, just like that. I end up adding about 1/2 cup of it. Just like that. Oh, this smells so good, you guys. And top it off with some roasted pistachios, which is a nice little crunch surprise for your guests. Just like that. And of course, just a little pinch of salt. Okay, there we go. Before we start wrapping, what I like to do is I like to cut. You have kind of like a square, and I like to cut just like this on the edges. It's gonna be easier to wrap your cheese. And don't worry, there's no right or wrong way of wrapping your cheese. Just make sure that it's completely fully wrapped, okay? So what I like to do is I like to start like this. I like to start with the larger size. Kind of like a gift, It doesn't really have like a right or wrong. You're actually doing another Oaxaca cheese kind of shape. Okay. Just like that. Es como si estás haciendo otra bola de queso Oaxaca, okay? Just like that. Make sure completely wrapped. Just like that. Okay. And I'm gonna place it on a baking sheet. This one, you do parchment paper or do a silicone pad. I couldn't find mine today, but I did a little brush of oil, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick it up and place it in the middle. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do an egg wash. And an egg wash sounds fancy, but the only thing it is one egg with a tablespoon of water that I just beat with a fork, okay? And an egg wash is gonna help our cheese and our puff pastry become nice and crispy and have a nice color to it, okay? And it's gonna help it bake and seal it all together. Get rid of this flour. Before that, in here I have my 1 egg beaten with a tablespoon of water that I'm gonna use to brush my queso Oaxaca. It's just easier to use it. Move it over here because y si no hay cochinero, no cocinaste, no es cierto, pero don't be afraid to make a nice mess. I like to say organized chaos. Okay, so we're gonna brush our cheese everywhere, just like that, all around. And we're gonna bake it for about 35 to 40 minutes, okay? So this is gonna be what we're gonna end our class with, the big reveal, while we make the rest of our appetizer for our board. Anybody have a favorite Thanksgiving appetizer or a side? Camera lady, you have a favorite side?
Sweet potatoes with marshmallow
Yeah, I really like,
and pecans.
yeah. Okay, so this is going in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes, okay? There we go, you guys. Let me get rid of this flour. And we're gonna be moving on.
Like a baked brie.
Yes, it's definitely like a baked brie, but we wanted to make it Mexican. So you can do it with any type of melting cheese. Just make sure, well, not make sure. It's easier if you use a round shape because it's easier to fold. But you can definitely use any cheese that melts. Okay. All right. So moving on to our other appetizers that are going to be on our board. And while that is cooking, let's get started with our butternut squash jalapeño hummus, okay? So in here I have a 15-ounce can of drained and rinsed garbanzo beans. I have 12 ounces of butternut squash peeled and cubed and roasted in the oven at 375 degrees for about 30 to 35 minutes, just until they're fork tender, okay? And make sure they're not hot when we mix these, okay? We're gonna use 1 pickled jalapeño. We're gonna use 1/4 cup of that jalapeño's pickling juice. We're gonna use 4 tablespoons of olive oil because hummus has olive oil. We're gonna do 1 tablespoon of garlic, minced garlic, and 1/4 cup of honey, okay? And we're also doing 3 tablespoons of tahini paste, okay? Which is sesame seed paste. We're gonna mix everything in here. Garlic. That pickling juice. Oh, and I will mention that you might need to add a little water in order to reach the consistency we're looking for. So what I like to do is I like to add, you'll see, I'll show you. I like to add water just only if I need it. Then add the honey. The honey balances everything out. That jalapeño, that butternut goes really well with the butternut squash. And then we're gonna add our olive oil. Make sure it's a good quality olive oil. Make sure it's not canola or any other oil. Make sure it's olive oil because that's going to give it a really nice flavor. Okay, let's add a butternut squash. We're using all seasonal ingredients for fall. This is a perfect appetizer board for any gathering, Friendsgiving, Thanksgiving, whatever you want to gather for, it's perfect for that. And then Northgate makes amazing turkeys. So if you want to make your appetizer board from scratch like this one, and then have Northgate make your turkey, serve it. That's a really nice thing to do right there. It's easy. Remember, you can prep ahead. The only thing I want to make ahead is our puff pastry, but everything else can be prepped ahead. Like this hummus, you can have it in a Tupperware airtight container and serve it the next day. And let's get blending. I'm gonna add a little bit of that water. Add it here. And this is going to help because it's hummus starts very dense because of everything it has, and this one also has butternut squash. So blend. We're going to give it a little nice mix with our spoon. Help it out. Oof, but that's looking really good. Oof. It smells so good. Butternut squash gives it a really nice color. Very polished color. Blend it a little more because you want it to be smooth. Oh, obviously we're going to season with salt and pepper, so I have to try it first. But this is the consistency you're looking for, super smooth hummus consistency. So let's try it. You guys, that tastes really good. It only needs a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. That's it. You can taste the garlic, you can taste the honey, goes really well with that roasted butternut squash. There you go. Store it in the fridge, serve it the next day when you assemble your board. You're gonna add it to a bowl for our board. And we'll garnish and decorate at the end, okay? What I like to do is you can do 2 boards or you can do 1 board. I like to serve a little bit in 1 board and then just keep refilling with my remaining hummus. So I just like to serve it like this, and we'll garnish at the end, okay? Just gonna place it right here for the end. And moving on to our cranberry chipotle cheese truffles. Okay. So what I have here is I have 2 8-ounce bars of cream cheese, and it's room temperature. You need it to be room temperature. You don't want it to be super, super soft. You just want it to be room temperature, just like this. It kind of sticks on its own. It forms a shape, okay? So in here, 2 bars of cream cheese. Here I have 2 chipotle and adobo peppers that I blended, okay? You can also use just the adobo sauce, but here I have 2 pureed chilies. Oh. I'm gonna mix. And the smokiness of the cranberry, the smokiness of the chipotle in here goes so well with the cranberries that we're gonna add. So we're adding 1 cup of chopped cranberries, dried cranberries in here. They pair so well together. Oof, and we're also adding 1 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese that I'm gonna grab from the fridge. This is gonna add so much. It's also gonna add texture, but it's gonna add another flavor profile to our cream cheese. It's gonna elevate it, make it a little bit more gourmet. Ooh. This already smells so good, and I just want to smear it like on toast. But we're not done yet.
Jorge says, hola, Isa.
Hola, Jorge. Ooh, that's so good. Okay, we're also adding honey. We're adding 1/4 cup of honey. We got another spoon. Take that up. I'm gonna create little cheese truffles or little cheese balls from this mixture. So that honey, that chipotle, that cranberry, the smokiness of those flavors go so well together. And you will notice that your room temperature cream cheese, when you add that honey, will become more soft and pliable. So what I like to do is I like to pop it back in the fridge until it becomes a little bit cooler and hardens a bit in order for me to form those little cheese truffles. Question, yes.
Would you recommend any other flavors of preserves that would work with the cheese?
Yes, and I have this. You can, honestly, you can do your favorite type of jam or preserves. I've done strawberries with those chiles, it's amazing. Blackberry jam, fig jam, orange jam. Honestly, your preference. I went with apricots because for some reason they reminded me of fall. But you can definitely use whatever one you like. Okay, so look at that. So this is nice and smooth and pliable, but we want it to be a little bit more on the harder side in order for me to form those balls, okay? So I'm gonna season with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Oh. Of course, we need to try it. That's so good, you guys. This is also a great recipe for just a dip. Okay, but since we're going nice and fancy on our presentation today and our plating, which is nice. It looks really fancy, but it's actually fancier. It looks fancier than it is. Ingredients are super easy to find, and they're really easy to make as well. So we're gonna pop this in the fridge, and I already have some to show you, but I'm gonna pop this in the fridge for about 20 to 25 minutes until it hardens and I can form those little truffles. And they turn out like this, you guys. We get rid of our egg wash. We don't need that anymore. And you can show them how they look while I go grab our walnuts. So that's how our little truffles look. Those have been, when you come back, when you put that back in the oven, and you're gonna roll about a tablespoon and a half in your hands. And since it's gonna be harder, it's gonna be easier to roll. And they're not covered yet. We're gonna cover them, okay? I'm gonna grab my little board here. I'm gonna place them on my board, final board. But in here, I have 1 cup of finely chopped walnuts and about 6 to 8 large basil leaves that I also finely chopped, okay? So this is gonna be the covering for our truffles, okay? And now we're gonna cover them in here. There we go. Look at that. And we're gonna place it on a little board that's gonna go on a bigger board. So cranberries in here. These you can also make a day and ahead. Just make sure you wrap in the fridge with plastic wrap. Just like that. And you can serve these, you can eat them literally just like that, or you can serve them on your plate and smear a little bit of these guys on your cracker. So they're up to you, but they're delicious. Look at that, you guys. You can fit one more in here. And that basil is like the perfect touch for this appetizer because we needed some herbs in here. And they're really easy to form and you can kind of reform them as well. So look at that, you guys. Easy and they look really fancy. Se van a impresionar los invitados. Bueno, o la familia o la suegra. Okay, there we go. And you'll continue to make more little balls and you can coat them as well. We're gonna use these. I'm gonna place them on my board. And I'm gonna garnish at the end. Over here, I'm gonna wash my hands. Our board is starting to look really nice. Clean up before we continue. And if you guys have any questions, anybody's cooking along, let me know. We still got time. We still got time, guys. Okay. These guys I like to call my salad bites, okay? They're salad bites because it's literally like you're eating a little piece of salad, but you can actually grab it, okay? So we're gonna be using one question, yes.
How big are they? How big are the cheese balls?
I would say they're about an inch and a half. An inch and a half. I can show you. So you wouldn't eat it in the one whole bite. You would probably eat it in smaller bites, or you can smear it on your crackers. Let me go grab my greens. And you'll be needing 1 cup of arugula or your favorite salad mix, your spring mix, or baby kale, or spinach, okay? These spinaches are a little big, so I'm just gonna use my hands to tore them a bit. This is a Fuji apple. You can use your favorite. I like to use red apples. I like to use pink lady apple, or lady pink, I believe it's called. And this is a Fuji or a Valley. Okay, just make sure it's a nice sweet apple because we're gonna pair it with some dates. And this is queso menonita, or queso chihuahua, pero creo que se llama queso menonita. So it's Amish cheese and that they sell at Northgate at the deli section. And it's amazing. And you'll only need about 1/4 pound. It's so good, it's so delicious. And you'll be needing about 12 slices of little pieces of cheese like this. Not thin slices, just like a little, you can say like a little piece of cheese. And you'll be needing 6 dates that you cut in half. And we'll be using those pieces with our cuts, okay? Okay, I'm gonna cut my apples. Don't pick a really small apple. Make sure you pick a medium to large apple.
Is your Thanksgiving traditional? And what's most have on Thanksgiving?
Is my Thanksgiving traditional, and what we have the most? I would say my Thanksgiving is traditional. We always like to kind of switch up the sides, but my turkey recipe is the same turkey recipe that we been cooking for a while. We have switched it up. We have made turkey in adobo, and we also make turkey pibil, which turned out amazing. And we've also done a turkey that had like a prune and rosé sauce, which was amazing. But we always end up going to my classic lots of butter stuff with herbs and white wine and all. I also use apricot preserves on mine and baste it. Sides, we always do like something with greens, like a salad, there's always, what I know is that there's always yams, like candied yams, pero muy buenas, no como and potatoes. So we always have potatoes and we always have sweet potatoes because this house is divided. Half like sweet potatoes, a sweeter side, and then the other half likes traditional mashed potatoes. But I will say that we always switch up the appetizers. We always try to make something new and different. Okay. We are going to slice our apple, just like that, and you'll end up with about 12 to 16 apple slices. And these are going to be wrapped. I can say that Thanksgiving meal is one of my favorite meals ever. Turkey, potatoes, sweet potatoes, green beans. I mean, I love it. It's one of my favorites. And we only make turkey on Thanksgiving, so I always want to have turkey on Christmas too, but we always end up going with something else, but I'm a big turkey fan. Okay, so we have lots of our slices here. And we need those little ones. And here I have prosciutto, or jamón serrano, or you can also use bacon, but make sure it's just pliable and it's not crunchy and hard, okay? You can also use that as well. Right here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a little vinaigrette for our salad, because always dress your greens, you guys. Make sure this is not just spinach or arugula or whatever, okay? So I'm gonna do a little vinaigrette. I'm gonna add about 1/4 cup. We're gonna eyeball it, but we're gonna add about 1/4 cup of olive oil and 1 tablespoon. Sorry, my sous chefs are going nuts. 1/4 cup of olive oil and 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. Okay. mix. So just a very simple vinaigrette with ingredients you have at your house, okay? I'm not gonna do anything fancy. You just want to dress your greens and make sure they have a lot of flavor as well. Either with a little bit of salt. And we're gonna add it to our 1 cup of your favorite greens. Just make sure it's not like romaine or anything too crunchy. Make sure it's a dark leafy green. Here, just like that. It's make sure everything is nice and coated before we add it to our little salad bites. And now we're going to try a piece. Make sure. That's so good. Just make sure everything is nice and fully coated and seasoned to perfection. That's so good. Any questions before we continue and wrap these guys? We still have a couple minutes on Earth. On our cake iron. Yes.
Figs, fresh or dry?
These are dates, okay? You can also use figs. You can do dried, or you can do, if you find fresh, great. If you find dried, you can also use dried. But today we're using dates, and those are dried, okay? What we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a piece of our prosciutto, like that. We're gonna add a slice of apple. Maybe you can show them closer. And add it to the middle, just like that. You can add it over here. And add a little piece of cheese. And I'm gonna add, let's throw that thing, a little date. And I'm gonna use my hands, okay? A little bit of salad in here. Just like that. And we're going to grab. Ooh, vean eso. Little salad bites. I'm gonna keep going. Yes.
No, I couldn't.
You couldn't read it?
No.
If you want to ask your question again, because we got lost. Adding more salad. Okay, wait. This is making my mouth water. And if you have excess prosciutto, don't worry about it. Just like that. Okay. Gonna continue, you guys. Apple, date, quesito, melonita, and our salad that has already been nicely seasoned and dressed. Just like that. That. We're gonna continue. These I would also make that same day, but these are really easy to make, so you shouldn't have a problem. Queso, dátil, and we'll continue, just like that. Salad. Just like that. Any more questions, comments? really excited. It's November, and today it has actually been a little cold. We got a little rain in the morning, so it does feel more fallish. And my birthday's on Saturday. I'm excited for this week. Ooh, I can smell our cheese. Check on it. Ooh, that's looking really nice and toasty golden. But it still has 11 minutes in there. Because you do want to make sure that it might look like it's perfectly done from the outside, but you want to make sure that cheese is nice and melted. Ooh, almost forgot our salad. There we go. And you can continue to make more of your salad bites and just have them in the fridge as replacements and just continue to fill up your board. So wash my hands. And for this board, I like to, besides our recipes, I like to fill it up with lots of other things because I like a very bountiful and very generous board, okay? Appetizer board. We're gonna get rid of this little prosciutto. Just like that. Okay, I'll bring out some more components of our board. Like I mentioned, I like to buy seasonal ingredients, so persimmons, persimmons are in season. I also have fresh little carrots that I like to add. If you want to grab the hummus, if you want to have like a healthier version than a cracker, you can also give your guests options, and they also taste really good. I have extra basil that I'm going to use to garnish, which is also edible. So I'll grab a little piece here. Smells so good. Okay, I'll bring my board this way. Any questions, you guys? Questions, comments?
Looks so amazing. Will we get the Zoom link? I missed the first 8 minutes from tech difficulty and missed the matcha prep. Thank you.
Yes, you will be getting the recording. I will mention that I had already my chiles fried and toasted, and that I just added them to the apricot preserves, but you'll definitely get the instructions and the ingredients and everything. Okay, so this is my board where I'll be garnishing and decorating. Okay. Stuff around. I also bought some pomegranates for decor, and they're in season, and I love them. Okay, this pumpkin can go right here. Maybe you can bring over the corn. You guys, I bought these beautiful harvest corns at Northgate. You like to use to decorate as well. So here we have our truffles. Like I mentioned, here we have our little truffles, our cranberry and herb chipotle cheese truffles. Here I have my hummus that I'm going to add a little bit more of olive oil on top. For garnish, a little bit of salt. And I'm going to garnish with some pomegranate kernels, you guys. Just like that. You can add Pepitas, or you can add, I'm gonna add a little bit of chopped pistachios as well. I grab the most chopped one, the largest. Okay, just like that. Have a little, give it a little bit of crunch and nice pretty garnishes, okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm going to add my salad bites. And I like to make sure before I start, I actually make a little sketch before I actually start plating my board, just so I'm not left over with space or a missing space. So I'm gonna leave this guy for my, which is my largest one, which is my Oaxaca cheese, okay? So I'm gonna add, and I try to stay, these guys that are fresh, I try to keep them away from their cheese, which is gonna go up. So I'm gonna add my little salad bites over here, just like that. I also like to add more nuts that you can find at Northgate, just like that. So I have my little corner of salad bites. Everything's gonna get a little bit more snug in here. I'm gonna use basil to decorate my little cheese truffles. Just to have nice and pretty. And I'm also going to grab, oh, and I also like to buy at Northgate, these are called pepitorias, or this one's called palanqueta mixta, which is a brittle instead of making it, which I would normally make it, but we're doing a lot of stuff today, you guys, and this is for gathering, so mételo más abajo. There you go. Northgate has your back, you guys. You want something crunchy in here. This guy I just like to break, and I like to add in here. As a garnish, and obviously it's edible and delicious. Instead of making our there we go. Smells amazing. Let's get rid of this guy. I'm also going to be adding more herbs. That bought at Northgate, like thyme. This is a garnish. I'm going to add more thyme on top of our pastry. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a couple of persimmons right here. You can also add one for garnish. Gonna add crackers next to our hummus, just like that. I'm also gonna add carrots over here. Have something fresh and crunchy to eat here. Hummus with
Store-bought palanqueta.
yes, store-bought palanqueta. So you can find it next to the nuts at Northgate section. It's also called pepitoria. You can ask for it. And there's different, not size. Well, yeah, there's different sizes, but there's different flavor ones. There's only one with Pepitas. This was a mixed one. But yes. Yes, yes. There we go. Crackers, and then can you pass me those crackers? These guys. I also bought these crackers at Northgate. I'm gonna use. I'm gonna rip the whole box. These are big, but you can just tear apart into pieces like that. So. I also have bought some grapes, which go really well with our cheese. Just like that. I'm gonna add some pomegranate as a garnish. We can add it right here. So it's getting really busy and we're waiting for our big guy. So más persimos, which is one of my favorite fruits. I'm not a fruit person, but I love persimmons, especially when they're nice and ripe. Okay. And we're gonna bring out our pastry. Where's my glue? Look, you guys. Look at this guy. Look at that. Vean ese quesote. Look at that. I'm gonna place it right here. Okay. That's really hot. I would wait about a couple minutes before actually serving it on your board. Let me grab the timer so it doesn't bother us. Look at that, you guys. It's beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Any questions before we move on till the end?
It's delicious.
Remember, it's hot.
Increíble, se ve buenísimo.
Yay.
Jorge.
You guys, look at that. Vean este queso. Queso Oaxaca en Croute, or hojaldre wrap Oaxaca cheese, you guys. And you can definitely, and we'll do that. We'll actually do that. I'm gonna add more matcha jam that we have to our board. Why not? Let's add more since we already have it. And if somebody wants extra, right here. This one's also great if you make yourself like a turkey sandwich and you can smear it on bread. It's great. Or just with a little piece of cheese. Gonna add it. Just hot. And a little spoon. We have more of the apricot chile jam. You guys, look at that. And yes, I'm going to cut into this, okay? That is my last and final step. But any questions, you guys, before I cut into this? Questions, comments, concerns? And you can always remember, you can always fill it up. So recipe is asks for more ingredients, but because you're gonna have extra salad bites, you're gonna have extra cheese truffles, so you can keep refilling your tray and keep your guests happy all night long. No more questions? You guys wanna cut into that cheese? You wanna see how it looks? Just garnish with a little bit of thyme. Just like that, and we can add more in. And herbs are also aromatic, so they're gonna smell really nice, make your board smell really nice. And Northgate has a great selection of fresh herbs. So, look at that, you guys. Voy a dar un platito para servirme queso.
Who is eating all that?
Today, they're having a pre-Thanksgiving, this family, to try what they all try on Thanksgiving. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, my family and a couple friends are gonna try this. And they're very excited. Definitely pair this appetizer board. Look at that. You guys, we made this like under an hour. And we even baked the cheese, okay? So I got a lot of questions. It looks really hard. And I'm like, honestly, it's not hard. Everything in the recipes, most of it is asked to be prepped ahead and cut ahead and chopped ahead. So when you're creating this, it won't be hard, okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut into that cheese. You guys, are you ready for that cheese pull? It's gonna be good.
Looks beautifully amazing, Monica Avila.
Thank you. Guys. Vean esto. Look at that, you guys. Oaxaca cheese. Look, you gotta grab this because it's gonna overflow. Look at that, you guys. Queso Oaxaca en hojaldre. Switch it up from that brie. Make it Mexican. Add some apricot jam con chile. Look at that, you guys. I'm gonna obviously try this. Oh, what I was saying is that you definitely pair this board with some wine, okay? Do it for me. Nos doy un 10 hoy, muchachos. Maybe you can show them a little bit more of the board, so you can see. That was increíble. And we made it together with that. Look at that cheese, you guys. Vean esa salsa. Oh my God, and then you get a little crunch of those pistachios. Look at that. Amazing.
Looks delicious.
And then you grab a carrot and you go into your hummus. Agarras un pedacito de pérsimo. You got your salad bites. You got your palanqueta or pepitoria. These guys, I'm going to show you how you can smear them as well. You can grab like this and grab a cracker and smear your cranberry truffle like that. Just like that. You guys, it wasn't hard. We did it under an hour. And happy holidays. Que empiecen las fiestas. Que empiecen el Thanksgiving Reyes. Thank you for joining.
Muchas gracias.
Wait, there's two.